Hi, I'm Tamika Shilby,
Hi, I'm Carolyn Burke.
and this is Nova. And we've missed you. It's been a while since we've connected with you, and we've been thinking about so many of you. So many of us on the planet are experiencing the signs and signals and symptoms of prolonged stress and anxiety. And that's what today we want to talk to you about so that you recognize that it's not your fault if your life doesn't look or feel the way it used to, even on the inside, and also to give you some tools and strategies for mitigating the impact of long-term stress and anxiety. So, in the first few months of a crisis, we can be quite mobilized and we even might have moments of, I've got this, I can handle this. But when it goes on weeks and months and into a year, it's a very different story because adrenaline works like this. We have these reserves in our body that allow us to be able to push out adrenaline, which is a high voltage substance, if you will. And when we push it out, it's usually because we're in the emergency room. So it's usually for something severe. So let's say we have to lift up a car and rescue someone, or we're being chased by the tiger. That's the classic way that people talk about adrenaline. But in our modern society, even without a pandemic, we can be in this constant stress because we're so busy. The demands are so high and they're so intense. But now we're in a whole new other thing because so many of you have lost the connection with people that you love. Those ties have been severed. You've lost the security perhaps that you once had. Maybe you're parenting and trying to work from home at the same time and homeschooling. There's so many different scenarios. Maybe you have financial stress or you're facing that worry of what's next and what am I going to do and what's going to happen. Maybe you're just troubled about the world and that is really impacting you on a daily basis. No matter what it is, for us to be in that state of stress for months and months, we are going to have some symptoms of prolonged anxiety and stress. And so the body can recover when, you get chased by the tiger, metaphorically or in real life, you get chased by the tiger, we can recover from that. But it's harder when those reserves are sort of leaking out on a daily basis over a long period of time. And you know this if you've had multiple traumas or betrayals or issues that have come like one after another, it can really wear us down. But there are things that we can do to make that better. So we want to share some of those today.
So, the thing that's really interesting, and I've heard this mentioned before, is called pandemic brain. And that has been very much a reality in my world, maybe for some of you as well. And this is kind of this sense of forgetting things a little more often, or, not knowing what exactly you should be doing. I know for myself, I've had these situations where someone's given me instructions and either my mind is elsewhere, like because of the chronic stress, it's like I can't quite focus in on what they're saying. And then I'm having to ask them to repeat the instructions because I didn't quite get it all. And I've noticed that more and more. And definitely, pandemic brain is a thing. And if you're experiencing it, you're not alone. The other thing I've noticed too with this, prolonged stress and anxiety is difficulties sleeping. So that has certainly been something that I've heard people talk about a lot and also have experienced. Sometimes anxiety keeping me up at night, but also just, disrupted sleep patterns, which has led to more exhaustion. And you would think, oh, you have more time to rest, but it feels like the opposite, that the stress has increased the exhaustion, which then means that there might be more physical pain in the body or just more discomfort overall.
And I've experienced some of that too, Carolyn. I totally understand. And it's almost like relating back to the adrenaline, I have to protect my mental health so fiercely, like more than I ever have before, like out of necessity. So what I mean is that before I might have been like, I'm going to call that person on that thing. This is different than like speaking your truth, where you really, really need to speak your truth, which we all do in different scenarios. But it would be more that like, nah, I don't have the energy for that issue with that person. That person isn't someone close to me. So I'm just gonna leave that be and let that go. And because I don't want to create more adrenaline because there's already so much pumping through my body. And when you said about forgetting things, I find for me the thing is like I walk into a room, I'm like, what was I doing in here? Because the four walls or the, of each room that you're spending most of your time in can be quite different now in the pandemic, because we used to break it up with connection and visitors and adventures. The other thing to be aware of is you may be getting hits from old emotional material that maybe hasn't fully been digested in your life. So, because of having more time, even if you don't feel like you have more time, you're at home more. So it's almost like we're with the mirror more. So we're in our own orbit, like feeling what we feel no matter what. Like we can't escape. We can't always escape. Well, you might be able to spend hours on Netflix or something and escape, or Instagram, but we're a lot of us are just having to face our stuff in a deeper way. And not to think there's anything wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. But sometimes Carolyn and I call this the pingdemic, because you get pinged like it's a little ding, like, oh yeah, that happened when I was 5 years old, or oh yeah, I have a difficulty with this area of my life. Or for you, it could be anything. It could be sadness, it could be anger, it could be frustration, it could be a certain parenting thing that makes you feel bad about yourself. It could be anything, but you might be getting pinged like a little nudge on the shoulder a lot more right now because of all those factors. And it's the biggest thing with getting pinged is to know it's happening for a reason, not to punish you. You didn't do anything wrong. And to be with those feelings and experiences, and not, you don't have to go into a deep sort of evaluation of them, or like psychological process, but just be like, yeah, that's there. And as much as you can, I know this is easier said than done, to befriend those things that come up as much as you can.
One of the things that I find that helps with that is just bringing my hand to my heart and really trying to be compassionate with myself when I have these. It's kind of like what you said about protecting your mental health. It's like how we protect our awareness of being like, I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm going to place my hand right here in the center of my chest and just feel what's going on right now and honor me for this feeling that I'm having that will pass. But in the process, can I be kind? Can I be gentle with myself?
You're talking about self-compassion, really, aren't you?
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's hard when you feel like things aren't going the way you want them to go.
Definitely.
Well, what else can people do? So put their hands on their hearts. What else?
I feel like the very tiny little things are very helpful. Like that, I know sometimes people are losing their routine during the pandemic and they're finding it hard to stay structured and to stay on track. So, is there something little that you can do to tweak that so that you can start to feel like there's some order in your world? But even the simple thing of us drinking lemon water, which we've been doing at night for a long time, sorry, in the morning when we wake up for quite a while, but recently adding it before bed has really helped to calm things down and increase sleep. And I think for me, even like if there's been anxiety, it's cooling to the brain. And this is the thing about anxiety is there's some electrical currents that really heat up our brain. So anything we can do to hydrate and cool that down can be really helpful.
It's so true. And we're going to talk more about that in Yoga for Anxiety. If you're interested in exploring all this further, definitely get on board. You don't have to be a yoga teacher to join us in Yoga for Anxiety program. Anyways, but we're going to get into more of the mechanics of all of that, right?
Mhm.
It's so interesting when you talk about the water, Carolyn, because I think some people don't realize how significant that is, both for physical health, but also for mental health. So we've been doing it for what, like over 4 years, I think, or around 4 years anyway, um, where we've been drinking the lemon water in the morning. And that's because overnight, the liver is doing its work to flush out all the toxins that we're exposed to. So maybe stuff in our food that isn't clean, maybe stuff in the environment, stuff we were born with. But also the stuff that's the toxic adrenaline that is corrosive to us, the liver stores that and then it flushes as much as it can without killing us at night. So it flushes it out at night and then, or it's pumping it out at night. So when you wake up and you drink that lemon water, you're getting all of that out of your system. You're getting it out, which is so critical. Um, so that's one thing. And as you're saying, we do it at night now. So we've added on this lemon water at night, and that just brings the body into a way different place as it's starting that process. Like it's almost like it's got like extra strength to do because it's flushing at night, and then it's got extra strength for the liver to be able to flush more and more easily and smoothly overnight. So this is information from Anthony William, if you're not aware of it, but it's really helped me too over the pandemic, or even over the last while. I certainly haven't been doing it the whole pandemic, to add in that second lemon water. And a lot of people say drink water when you're stressed, and I understand why, because the liver is the center of our emotional well-being, and so that's not to be underestimated.
I
Well, the last thing that we want to talk about today is just lowering your expectations on yourself. So, as I'm talking about water, if you're like, I can barely even do anything in my life, let alone clean up my eating, because eating and drinking, like, it's all very, yeah, it's wired to the way that we were raised, and it's wired to so many things. So don't let anybody tell you what to eat and drink. Basically, we get it. But if you're so inclined, and if you feel moved by this message, or you feel like, yeah, I could do that, then you can do it. But if you feel like you can't, then you can't. You will be able to make shifts in your life, in your routines, in all of these things at some point later. So don't expect yourself to be the person you were before the pandemic. Also, lower your expectations about the way you look. One of the things that's made me sad over the pandemic, and I've had these feelings myself too, is that women, especially, but probably men too, are just feeling like, or however you identify, not just men and women, they're feeling like, I don't look the way I used to look. And if you think about what's going on the whole globe, just the worries about, how is this going to look later? Just that alone should mean that we shouldn't have to put that burden on ourselves to look a certain way, and not to judge others if they don't look the way they used to look. That will all reset itself. So let go of expectations of yourself looking the way you used to look. So some people have gained weight during the pandemic. Some people have not been able to gain weight, and that's been an issue that they've already had, and that's got worse. Some people have more like dark circles under their eyes, or they feel like they have wrinkles they didn't have before. These are all things that can be reset, and they will go back to some kind of normal, but not yet, right? Not even normal, whatever that means. There's certain words that don't you just go, oh my God, I can't hear unprecedented one more time, or I will cry or scream. Same with back to normal. What is that? Like, we're in a transformation. There's no more normal. There's like a recreation. And hopefully that will be, once the dust settles, hopefully that will be a beautiful and expansive and, yeah, a recreation of who we are as a global community, in a brighter way, in a lighter way, in a more equal way. Hopefully that's my vision anyway.
love it. It's beautiful. I don't feel like you're doing this alone. I think all of us are experiencing various levels of it, small, medium, and large. And reach out for help if you need it, and know that you're not alone. We're all kind of walking uphill right now, but it hopefully, Tamika, like you said, the vision of what's to come is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we just don't know when it's coming. Right? We just don't know when. Yeah. Thank you all. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.